closer. "And the gentlemen are so very handsome, don't you think?" Now Penelope's smile grew a bit rigid. Frances Lockwood was the granddaughter of a viscount. Her father was a mere gentleman, and her mother was a banker's daughter, but that noble connection made all the difference. Penelope's father had been an attorney before he made his fortune investing in coal canals, and the grime of that origin had never fully washed away. The Lockwoods were received everywhere. Frances, with her dowry less than half the size of Penelope's, was considered a very eligible heiress. Not that Penelope wanted Frances's suitors, who were silly young men with empty pockets for the most part, but it set something inside her roiling when she saw the way they fawned over her friend. "There are many handsome gentlemen in London," Penelope said aloud. There were, although none near this part of the ballroom, where the unmarried ladies congregated. If Joan were here, they could discuss the scandalous rakes lounging elegantly at the far end of the room, closer to the wine. But Frances was only 17, and would fall into a blushing stammer if Penelope openly admired the way Lord Fenton's trousers fit his thighs. Frances nodded, a beatific smile on her face. She edged a little closer to Penelope's side and dropped her voice. "Miss Weston, may I confide in you? You've been very kind to me, and I do so look up to you for advice. Well, you know, on how to deal with gentlemen who are only interested in one thing." Oh dear, Frances meant the fortune hunters who clustered around her. Penelope tried not to heave a sigh. Unfortunately, she had too much experience of those men, and too little experience of real suitors. She was probably the least suited person to be giving advice, but Frances persisted in asking her. "Is another one bothering you? If so, you must send him on his way at once. Such a man will never make you happy if all he cares for is your fortune or your connections." "Oh, no, I know that very well," replied Frances earnestly. "I've turned away Mr. Whittington and Sir Thomas Philpot and even Lord Dartmouth, although my mamma was not very pleased by the last one. Only when I explained to her that you had turned him down as the very lowest of fortune hunters did she relent." The Earl of Dartmouth was at least 40, with a pernicious gambling habit. Mrs. Lockwood was a fool if she even considered him for her daughters, Earl or not. "I'm sure you'll be very happy you did when you meet a kinder gentleman who cares for you." The younger girl nodded, her face brightening again. I know, because I have met him. Oh, Miss Weston, he's the handsomest man you ever saw. Always so smartly attired, and the very best horseman I've ever seen. And a music lover. He listened to me play for almost an hour the last time he called, and said I was a marvel on the pianoforte." Frances looked quite rapturous. She was very fond of the pianoforte and practiced for an hour each day, something Penelope couldn't fathom surviving, let alone enjoying. "And, what's more, he's heir to an earl and has no need of my fortune. Mamma is so pleased, and Papa too. He's been calling on me for at least a fortnight now, always with a small gift or posy, and he's the most charming, delightful gentleman I could imagine." Penelope nodded, hoping it was all true. "How wonderful! I told you there were true gentlemen out there. They just require some hunting." Frances laughed almost giddily. "There are. My other friends were so very scandalized when I refused to receive Mr. Whittington, because he's the most graceful dancer, even if he is horribly in debt. But you were entirely correct. I credit your wise advice for the happiness I now feel. Indeed, for the very great match I'm about to make. May I present you to him? He's to attend tonight." For a moment, Penelope felt like saying no. It was bad enough that she had to feel old and unwanted next to Frances. Her friend was sweet and kind, but also somewhat silly and naive. It was bad enough to see Joan and Abigail marry deliciously handsome men. Penelope loved them and wanted them to be happy. She also wanted Frances to be happy. But tonight it just felt a bit hard to see Frances find her ideal man and be swept off her feet in her very first year in London.